Hey man, it's pretty early in the spring. I just saw dandelions today anyways. So I know you guys are worried about silly things, but you get prepared for some fires this year and pretty much, well, in a lot of parts of the world that you're not used to, or the ones that you're used to that you already haven't recovered from the trauma, but it's coming again for you. And by the way, traumas are an explanation of many things. I mean, traumas from the Second World War are still having big impacts on us. What has been done to the First Nations community, and if you add all of these social pandemics that you're having now, because your social structures are, we're built on fragile cards, and they don't include the right support systems in mental health to cope with the healing of traumas, which takes time and it takes compassion, right? You can't rush through it. It's not a prescription you write for that. It takes, care and concern for others, which when everybody is self-serving and survives one day at a time, including your specialists that you want to count on, it's kind of weird. So I don't want to, maybe I'll talk a tiny bit about AstraZeneca. It's pretty ridiculous, the hesitation, the lack of scientific paradigms, and even your specialists that criticize others for misinformation, but really you can tell in the way they're talking on the news when they're criticizing others about miscommunication that they're doing the same at the same time. They believe there's a pandemic, and yet they're still talking as if they're in a job interview to get to a higher elitist position in their field, and they want to be politically correct, and it's more about not hurting somebody's feelings. So it's pretty sad that you consider your specialists. But anyways, should we worry? I got the AstraZeneca arm. I'm scheduled to get it. And should I worry? Well, you can worry about it, and worrying is going to make you die of something else. Like you're going to go keep eating crappy food or drink more alcohol or do things that are worse for your health than the rare possibility that you might have an adverse reaction to it. And again, all the delays and things makes me know that even your specialists aren't talking again about how, viruses and microbes and bacteria evolve faster than you do, and that the social pandemics that I'm talking about explains how your social structures were already inadequate and they're getting worse, and they won't be able to catch up to even sometimes have vaccines be efficient until the natural world adapts to your raping of it. So it's kind of silly. I mean, you're more likely when you're stressed about these things, instead of worrying who's going to make a profit and who's going to be offended and how to interpret data or not, it's pretty simple. Vaccines work when they reach certain high numbers, and anything that interferes with that proves that you don't have the right worldviews, right? The right core beliefs, the right understanding of science to even save yourselves as a species. So it's pretty sad. I mean, you're probably more likely being stressed about that, dying in a car crash, because you're driving stressed about that, and having inefficient brains because of what you eat and drink and watch on TV. So anyways, I don't want to make this too anthropocentric, because this is this month's Master of Science in Ecocentric Humanism Worldview. It's about true sustainability, right? Sustainability is not us, the center of the universe, right? It's about belonging to this global living system that we all participate in. So no joke, I just sent an email to somebody that might participate in next month's video. It'd be pretty cool. They responded, but we're still kind of just at the beginning of things. Hey, I was still in the womb on the first Earth Day in 1970. I was born a few months later. In the womb, I hope you don't blame me, I was a little bit the center of my universe. I mean, I knew there was something outside of me. But I wasn't born in a, let's say, culture or community that would teach me what I need to know about what I'd really be living on with as a system, right? The Earth's biosphere, right? And also the not just ecological or physical or chemical, but the social structures that I'd be interacting with as part of all these systems. So I can tell you what, that I wasn't born in 1970 in a human culture, and I know I'm not in a human culture now, because we've been on the planet and we have a brain big enough, and we've been here long enough to actually have made the progress, but we haven't, and my theory explains why. My theory on HSD. So when I was in the womb was the first Earth Day, and I paused for a sec. It looked kind of muddy, and it is just like less than a centimeter, but it's still very solid ground. I'm not sinking or anything. So, I meet people every day, either on the internet or in person, or I see them on the news that would make great students for this course, which I'm doing a second year, it looks like, by myself. And if somebody's in a video, they're not participating in the course, they're just in a video for their own, purposes. I mean, to be in the course, you have to do from beginning to end, and there's a little bit of reading and homework and personal development, like I've said before. You can't bypass that and at a later age think that it changed your worldview to have a good balance of different types of human thinking tools and a variety of different types of intelligence at the human level. So to hear, everybody talking about COVID-19, which exists, but it's really put in the news to promote anthropocentrism, not ecocentrism. And I'm not saying it's done deliberately, although, at a small scale it is. But at a big scale, it's unconscious. It's unconscious that you're having the wrong priorities. And I'm not saying that there aren't governments or people working on, let's say, climate change or the worry of losing biodiversity or things like that. There is, but I mean, priorities won't come with an anthropocentric worldview, the right ones for future planning. So my homework I'm giving myself for next month, and hopefully it'll happen, the homework, and maybe I'll have the guest speaker that comes along with it, is to update and rewrite and expand the new environmental or new ecological paradigm that Dr. Dunlap worked on in the 70s, and I think it was updated in 2011. I'm not sure, by somebody else. So maybe it's like a decade ago since the last update. But I can tell you in this vlog here for this month's is that true critical thinking or true systems thinking or the efficient setting of priorities for future management for your future is not, well, it's a real joke. If it's entertained, these discussions by people that are non-ecocentric humanists, right? And who actually are promoting the wrong pillars of sustainability, which is more anthropocentric than ecocentric. So I can tell you that you're still not having these conversations, and again, it won't prepare you for what's coming. It'll blindside you. So it's kind of sad that I'm doing a second year alone, but I'll try to have guests once in a while to kind of show you that I don't bite when I interact with others.